Like in so many small towns, hockey usually brings people together in Delmany, Saskatchewan.
Put some stink on it, Burke.
But this past year, the Trehorn family became embroiled in a dispute so bitter that 12-year-old Berkeley Trehorn can never play minor hockey in her hometown ever again. She's been banned, and Berkeley and her dad Rod say it all traces back to the fact she's a girl.
I kind of felt like really sad, or like I did something wrong because they were blocking me from there.
By there, she means the team dressing room, a source of problems for years. Like so many girls, Berkeley has played hockey with boys since she was 5. When she turned 11, Hockey Canada's co-ed dressing room policy kicked in. The binding rules say girls and boys must change separately, but they're expected to come together in the same dressing room, fully dressed except for skates and helmet, 15 minutes before and after a practice or game. So, for the past couple years, Berkeley has had to gear up in hallways, closets, bathrooms, even a furnace room.
She felt very demeaned by that. I sat there in the room with her. Plus, we've had situations where grown men have just walked in on her because she's not actually in a dressing room. It's a utility closet.
Well, I didn't really want to play anymore because that's mainly the whole part that I really wanted to be there was just to have fun. And me sitting by myself is not very fun.
And then the pandemic hit.
We felt finally she would be fully welcomed as part of the team and just be able to walk right in with her team as an equal.
COVID-19 protocols required all players to get dressed at home. They could only arrive at the rink 15 minutes before ice time and had to be fully dressed except for skates, helmets, and gloves. Berkeley's coaches and team manager agreed that she could be in the same room with her male teammates for those 15 minutes. But the Delmany Minor Hockey Association said no way.
This COVID year was really difficult.
Kelly McClintock oversees hockey for all of Saskatchewan. He says he was told boys on the team were uncomfortable, even though the policy allows Berkeley to be in the room.
Maybe in theory, but there's a lot of dressing rooms where, the washrooms don't have any doors on them, etc.
But that's not actually the case in Delmany. It all led to a flashpoint last October. Berkeley says a group of parents and board members physically blocked her from entering the dressing room. The volunteer board members here in Delmany who spoke to CBC News all settled on one main reason: that it's too risky to have unchaperoned boys in a dressing room with a girl, even when everyone is fully dressed. That it could lead to bullying, sexual harassment, even assault.
It might be an extreme case, but it could be a possibility, right? So again, you're just trying to protect everyone from things that could happen.
The Trehorns say it's not their fault parents don't trust their boys.
I was angry. I was upset. I cried. But it was only met with, I made a phone call to one of the board members, which the response was, I don't want to get involved.
The Trehorns demanded an apology to their daughter and more inclusion. When they didn't get it, they called a lawyer and filed a human rights complaint. The Trehorns also refused to sign a code of conduct that prohibited them from speaking negatively about the board.
We couldn't, in good faith, sign it, knowing that we are going to speak negatively about the board at some point, because we're taking them to human rights court.
The toxic dispute prompted some board members to resign. In May, the Minor Hockey Association permanently released Berkeley. The reason? Multiple violations of our code of conduct by Berkeley's parents, including vulgar and threatening language. The couple denies threatening anyone, but admits they lost their tempers more than once.
You just break down, right? You just come too emotional. And you can't handle it anymore.
Very challenging for volunteers, and I feel sorry for them.
The Saskatchewan Hockey Association General Manager supports the decision to ban Berkeley from Delmany hockey and stands behind the volunteers.
They do an incredible job, and they put up with an incredible amount of abuse. I know because I deal with a lot of verbal abuse, and for them to put up with situations like that is extremely stressful, and it's turned off a lot of people from even being involved in the game.
The Human Rights Commission rejected the Trehorns, citing insufficient evidence, but the family has reapplied with more documentation.
Quit is not in our blood.
The Trehorns are resolute. They insist their daughter was discriminated against on the basis of sex.
Sometimes it makes me angry.
As for Berkeley, she feels caught in the middle, confused as to how things escalated to this point.
They're just kind of being stupid, so.
She misses her teammates, but will have to go elsewhere to play hockey. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Dalmeny, Saskatchewan.